Next, we are going to touch upon a couple of two topics combined. So no doubt that education is the key to taming disruptive innovations. And Claudio Feijoo, professor at the Technical University of Madrid, is about to share his presentation on AI and education within the public sector. We have spoken a lot about education in universities and high schools. Now it's time to get to the public sector and government officials. Claudio Feijoo holds a master's and PhD in telecommunications engineering and master's in quantitative economics. He is full-time professor at the Technical University of Madrid, where he is the director of entrepreneurship, leading programs on education, launch, and acceleration of tech-based startups and spin-offs. At academia, he teaches on strategic management and entrepreneurship, leads a EU-funded master program for AI in public services, and pursues research on the future socioeconomic impact of emerging technologies. What is more, Claudio has worked on assignments on 5 continents for main international institutions. His employment records includes the European Commission and the Spanish Ministry of Industry. He also has 20 years of background as a founder and mentor for startups and is experienced in managing the implementation of innovative projects. What an impressive portfolio. So let's welcome Claudio to our virtual Lithuanian stage.
So thanks so much for this presentation.
Welcome, Claudio. So do you think that disruptive public sector, mission impossible?
No, not mission impossible at all. I think we have something different here in Europe, and we still have time and the resources to change and also to build something from public services and spreading into some other areas, sectors, industries. So we still have an important chance here. Yeah.
So you have half an hour to tell us all about it. The stage is yours.
Okay, thanks so much. I'm going to share my screen and then start. Okay. So this should be working, and I'm going to put it in presentation mode. Yeah. Okay, fantastic. All right. Okay, so thanks so much for the invitation, and of course, good afternoon, good evening, good local time, wherever you are. And I'm going to talk. You mentioned this. I'm an engineer, so I was here in the last talk, so I don't know. I'm going to be still important, but because I'm an economist, maybe I can still survive. So interesting. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about our view on AI and education within public services and how this can be extended beyond. I'm going to use mostly our recent experience with the partners you can see on your left. For universities, we have launched together this European Master on AI for Public Services. But I'm not going to talk about the master. I'm going to use that recent experience to try to explore why this is important, which is the goal, how can be done, which is the profile of people we are looking, and beyond education into the ecosystem, because this is maybe the most relevant message I want to deliver. It is not about just public service. It's not just about AI, and AI within public service is about creating an ecosystem with some European values. And this is what I think we still have important chances and a good opportunity. So why AI for public services? This is the first part. Everybody's been talking about the hopes for AI in government, how AI can contribute to increase efficiency. Basically, this was one of the key arguments that was behind, but also hype. In fact, you see there are a lot of reports and initiatives at all levels, European Parliament, European Commission, and many others, United Nations, UNESCO, you name it, and also national level. And I can see here, of course, Lithuania and many other countries where they have a strategy or different strategies that go in the direction of AI. So what is real? This is one of the first important areas of discussion. It is another hype, and they will go, not stay with us, or this is something tangible, important here. The issue, the difficulty is that we are asking two things at the same time, and two things that are conflicting, difficult to achieve at the same time. So we are asking, hey, we want the public services to be more efficient, to deliver better services to the public. And for that reason, you need to use technology. And AI looks like a good technology in that respect, because it takes a lot of data, helps you to process this data, and helps you to take decisions rapidly and maybe even more effective. So this is one thing. But at the same time, we are asking you to be more transparent, to be able to understand diversity, to be able to protect civil society, to respect human rights, to not to use so many data on individuals. So this is the problem, and this is the contradiction. We are trying to govern by AI, but at the same time, we are trying to stay away from wrong usages of AI. In terms of public services, this is also one of the reasons why building education, understanding of AI is so important, because as of today, we are asking two conflicting goals, like a holy grail, like a very complicated area. So we need to talk about AI. So this is a first important argument. It's not because it's easy, it's because it's difficult. It's because we are asking something that is hype, hope, mandate, more efficient, at the same time, almost impossible to achieve, because we are asking the opposite at the same time. So what is the offer in the EU today? Do we have something going along these lines, something that we can use in public services? And when you look, and this is taken for a very recent report from the European Commission, what is available to let people know about AI, no? And then you find there are many courses on fundamentals of AI, engineers, computer scientists, or someone who wants to enter into this field. And also we have some others that are applied in areas like services of different kinds, but not so much in the area of public services. So here we have a first difficulty. That is, okay, so not so many, and also which is the right approach for upskilling education in AI, in public administration, public bodies, public agencies. Here we have a first element of interest. But on the other side, it looks that there's a huge demand. So we have a short supply, but we have a huge demand on the other side. So taking, for instance, some data from the United Nations, it looks like we need to increase technology capacity, leadership, ability to manage human resources, also more capacity to implement policies, to check things on many areas, institutional, financially, monitoring. So how to monitor complex policies and the results, the impact of these policies without AI, without this sufficient knowledge of AI. This is the question. So short supply, huge demand, and also this contradiction we have at the bottom. And in the EU, well, it looks like this is already in the radar. Someone has thought, together with many other goals related with AI, AI for climate, health, and robotics, and enforcement, and less polluting, sustainable. Okay, someone thought, yeah, the public sector has a role. He said the public sector a trailblazer for using AI. I'm not sure about this idea of a trailblazer, but I'm sure that the public sector, the usage of AI within the public sector, it can make a difference and can signal a new way of using AI and can influence other areas. This is for sure. Not so sure about trailblazing. Not completely convinced about it. So summary of this initial part, the motivation is, something needs to be done. The question is, how? And what exactly can someone working in a public administration of any kind, public services around public bodies, can get from something connecting AI with public services? So our experience, our observations, my observations, 3 areas: scope, what is it? What is this for? Which areas, and which should be the objectives of such an education? And then we can discuss how to do it. Okay. So first, the scope. I think the most important reason it is because of digital transformation. It's not exactly AI. AI is a means for the digital transformation. So we need to prepare leaders, the champions of this transformation. So it means basically how to plan, how to design, how to use technologies that facilitate digital transformation. So it looks AI, it's an important component for the delivery of public services to improve effectiveness and the value of these public services. While they are still public services. This is the elephant in the room. This is the other part. So we still need to not to abuse data, to keep transparency, accountability. This is the other side. But this is digital transformation. Such. So scope, and then which focus. Basically, there are 3 key elements here. First is part related with organizational public administration. That is, I read this as upskilling. So we need to attract talented people to public administration. We need to give the people already working in public administration additional skills, so they are. I don't know if they are going to be marketable. So they are going to move into private sectors, private industries, but they will be marketable in the sense that they're really delivering something meaningful for society. So this is one thing. So it's providing additional skills. Second important thing is human-centric. We have an opportunity of using technology to keep on growing in the direction of being human-centric. So still the goal, still the focus is human-centric. Simply AI can be an opportunity to move faster, move forward in this direction of human centricity. And third, and this connects very well with the previous talk, there are like 2 routes when you want to build a profile like this. So one way will be kind of the traditional way. It is you take the technicians, people expert in technology, and you provide them with some additional expertise, a little bit like management of technology. So because they know technology, and then they know a little bit about management, in this case, public services, then you have the profile that you're looking. But here, or in our view, we are taking the other route. So it's difficult, but I think it's more meaningful and will have a higher impact. So it will be quicker. So we are trying to create functional specialists. So a functional specialist is someone who already knows about her sector. So in this case, public services might be. And then we add the ability, the capacity to understand technology enough so to become a manager of technology. No, we are not looking, or we shouldn't be looking to create new computer scientists or new programmers or new experts in AI from public servants. No, on the contrary, what we need to tell the public servants, people who want to become public servants, you are an expert. You really know deep about public services. But in addition, we are going to provide you with the means to understand technology enough so you can manage technology within public service. But the focus is still being in your sector, being a specialist in your sector. So you become a functional specialist in the sense of management of technology. This I think is an important objective. And then practical objectives. So it will be something tangible. So it means which are the real benefits and for the public sector of these technologies, AI and data, that combination probably. launch projects, able to commission, buy, tender AI-based systems and implement them and manage. And maybe more important, on top, overarching view, make the right informed judgments on AI and the state of the art. So understand technology enough so to be able to take the right type of decision. This will be the objective. So this is the second part. So we have already why we need this and the focus and the objectives. So the third part, very quick, it will be okay, how to do it. And here there's a big important current discussion. So how do you want to do this? So there are like two separate tracks. One possibility will be to do like some short courses for upskilling, no? Like imagine that you do some short videos with information, and then you have some quizzes, and then you can build your own portfolio doing this, and maybe you have a long commuting time to the place of work, and then you use that time to upskill a bit, and maybe we put together some of this, so you become you acquire new skills. But we don't think that is enough. We think we need to go by the other possible track. And the other track, it looks, let's say, a little bit traditional, but at the same time, with something new within. But it looks like, okay, this requires no shortcuts. You will need to work a little hard, and probably will need to, it takes time, maybe, I don't know, 1 year. This is our calculation. And maybe you need to devote to this 1 full day plus some extra working time. So it means probably Fridays evenings and Saturday mornings or something like this, or in any other combination, but like a full day in 7 plus some additional work together with your team and some individual research. These are not conflicting, but these two tracks, they go in different ways. They try to achieve different objectives. For the objective of becoming a functional specialist, we think we need to go beyond just simply upskilling. We need to go something like acquire some expertise, and this takes time. And of course, you can help this with dividing in parts and creating micro credentials and diplomas. So putting a little bit of a carrot to because this is important in the world of public services. You can use all of that strategies, but at the end, it's relatively hard, hard work. So this is an example. I'm not going to stop in this, but this is how we do it. So we have something introductory, and then some foundations, and then it's very practical. So it's working hands-on. And it's important, this idea of hands-on, and it's important that our PS is several projects, not one, because the range of public services is huge. So we thought if we really want to provide the meaningful knowledge to the people using or trying to go in this direction, they really need to tackle different cases. So maybe some of them are regional, local, maybe national, supranational, international, and they take cover different sectors, maybe a little bit of education or maybe rural areas, or maybe connected with health. So they have different requirements. And also we try to select different techniques because AI is too broad, too wide. And then you have a little bit of, I don't know, knowledge graphs here. And then you have maybe somewhere more machine learning or more advanced ways of more like deep learning. And then you have other techniques, and maybe it's more about natural language processing or something else. So they are rather different type of techniques. And to really be able to understand AI, you really need to know each of them. And for that reason, you need several cases. So at the end, we thought you need to cover in a year a portfolio of cases, different of them, covering technologies, cases in verticals, and also different type of needs. So the outcome of all of it, it will be, and these are the reasons at the end why some effort should be put in this. At least our perspective, it is better public services, better enhancing the delivery of public services, improving the digital skills related with public services, increase knowledge on the issues around the usage of technology in public services. And then something more specific to AI is management of AI, is critical outlook on the usage of AI. I don't know, we're going to a winter or we are in a springtime related with AI, but proper usage, it looks like important. Huh? And then at the end, we are talking about governance and delivery. So these are the learning outcomes, or this is our suggestion for constructing this type of programs. So this was number 3. And then number 4, very quick. We have already started this journey. So we launched a master program on this, and then we check who was interested. And I think there are a couple of interesting things coming from those who joined. So gender, good. This is not the usual case in areas related with technology, but interesting observation. Maybe when you go in the route of functional specialists, maybe you get a more balanced view. Not perfect like this, maybe this way by chance, but more balanced. Not the usual unbalance between in gender. No? And then need extends across European Union and beyond. So also covering many nationalities. This is just a random sample. Maybe it's just a small evidence. It's anecdotic, but it's revealing that the interest is around. Age, we are talking about relatively senior people. So we are not talking about young people who want to enter. So this is people already with some degree of responsibility. They want to enhance, know more, be able to integrate technology, AI in their portfolio of abilities. And then, yes, they are related with the public sector. So they are in or around the public sector. Even in fact, they belong to a public sector organization. So it's real. The demand exists. And then the background, interesting, because you can see there are some of them computer science, but many of them, they nominally, in theory, they don't have a clue about technology, or at least not because of their background. This is also interesting because you can play with this. Huh? So because it's teamwork, you can play with those who are a little bit, have more knowledgeable in technology, and put them together, working in teams, those who know a little bit less about technology, so making a combination. So teamwork is an important component in our view of this type of initiative. Okay, and the final slide for some comments and final thoughts, but also to leave a little bit of room for questions, maybe, if these are interesting enough. Okay, we have already started, and now what? Which are the next steps? And an important thing is we shouldn't stop in just educating or enhancing, updating, upskilling, you name it. People working in public administrations, in public services, around public service, because it's not, maybe they are not public servants as such, but they are working around public services, but it's going beyond. Why going beyond this and thinking in an ecosystem view? Because we can influence others. It's obvious that public sector buys a lot of services, new projects, solutions from private players. So if you have an increased understanding what is happening, and you infuse this increased understanding with our European values in technology, the AI ethics, the respect for human dignity, the importance of civil society, then you are influencing others, and you are creating an effect. Not only because you are educating, changing, transforming the digital, the public services, or digital transformation of the public services, but also, and maybe more important in the long term, because you are changing the whole society. You are changing the industries around. And we have modestly started with this. Here you have all the contact data if you're interested, but I would like to stop here, because when we thought how to start changing the rules, we thought, why don't we start, instead of the big players, these large vendors, why don't we start with the small new company, with the startups? Why don't we bring the intelligence, the new approaches of startups in AI, and we bring them into public services? So we are now launching, we tried the approach and it worked. So now we are launching a second context, still doesn't have a web page properly. So still the general ones. If you are interested or you know anyone interested, you can contact us. And then put in a carrot, this type of contest, to signal there's a possibility of changing the public sector, having customers for a startup in the public sector, difficult always, but from the public sector, changing, reshaping whole industry and hopefully society and the public services we provide to this society. And this was my talk, and thanks so much again for the invite, and happy, I don't know, you have some questions or you want to stop here, up to you. Thanks.
Just in the beginning, there are ways to make the education and public sector mission possible. And I really like the approach that you mentioned, not only the theoretical part, but as well putting things into practice. And I would like to ask your opinion. I've heard that there are such projects taking representatives, employees from public sector and placing them on a month internship at startups to train a little bit, to see how things work and learn about technology. So would you see this model scaling?
I will go the other way around. When for the startups, it's always difficult to go and open a market, but it's even more difficult to access public administration. They are in another layer of complexity. But something that can be done is to prepare these public administrations to work with startups, particularly in the field of AI. So you can use this concept of a sandbox or something like this, but within public services. So we are developing something we call deep demo. So it's a way to, before talking to the startups, you start talking with administration. You prepare this administration. I don't know. Imagine a city council. So a city council has different verticals dealing with, I don't know, mobility, energy, and I don't know, with the type of other stuff. No. So you need to talk to them and prepare like a place where they share their needs, their problems, and then when you are ready with them, then you plug the startup. So I think this is the right way. If you simply throw the startups in the arms of the city council, it will take ages really to get. So I think you need to prepare and do the internship, the sandboxing, or we call it deep demos and something similar. To prepare the administration to be able to work with the startup. So I will do it this other way around. Of course, it will be good for some public servants to be involved in startups, but I think as in a practical way, it's something that is meaningful, gets an impact more in this direction.
Thank you. And I have another question for you when it comes to learning in general, not only for public sector employees, but especially with the mind of a new generation. For example, Generation Z and the new upcoming ones. We already see the impact of the technology, of students being impatient, not being able to concentrate. And we see like poor results in scientific studies and maths and other fundamentals, and as well that could have an impact on further learning. So we haven't touched this topic earlier today, so it would be interesting to hear your opinion on is there still a way back, or we need to find another way around how we work around this?
Of course, it will be tempting. I'm talking about the academia. I'm not talking about maybe upskilling or complementing or acquiring skills, but I'm talking more like a traditional academia. No? It will be tempting to follow, let's say, the trend and say, okay, let's do short videos, easy and small pieces, and then quizzes, and then this is. But I think Of course, we need to change as academia, standard academia. We need to change. Of course, we cannot stay in the same place. But I wouldn't go, let's say, TikTok, jump into that kind of the type of education. I think there's something in between, and this something in between, it is, and everybody knows these techniques. The only thing is you need to change the professors. That is more complicated than changing the students. It's project-based education, it's flipping the classroom, is challenge-based, is working with companies, with the market, is turning around the whole process of education and giving the pieces of information for the students when they need them in a particular case. And it's a hands-on, it's a real case, and they can see the influence and they can really have an impact. Because I think these are really drivers for young people, and they are there. The only thing is you need to attend them in the right manner. Not as we used to do, but I wouldn't say it's just falling into this because it's trendy. We need to really rethink how we provide, but I think the answer is more project-based, challenge-based, hands-on, teamwork, with the education providing the pieces you need at the right time, not just added basic knowledge you don't know how to apply that in a real setting. My take, huh?
And of course, it's very interesting to see how we as a society adapt not only to the new topics like AI in many industries, but as well into how we will fall into these new working environments, opening us more opportunities as well. So I would like to thank you one more time, Claudio, for spending your time with us. And I hope you stick around for our last presentation.
Thanks, bye.